contractors, colleagues, and constituents this evening, all to review, discuss, and act upon the business of our city. Please protect and be with all our men and women in uniform throughout the world who defend and ensure our freedoms at home. We ask you to also be with all our first responders who provide for our safety, health, and well-being 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For all these blessings, we give thanks, dear God. Dear Lord, please intervene as only you can in ending the violence within our country as it relates to the disregard of human dignity for others every day almost. Please give direction and guidance to our national and world leaders to find collaboration and peace amongst all people and nations. We rely on you. For all this, we ask for your grace. Lord, reassure us that you are our light, our perfection and protection, and our shield. We need those reminders. May we stand firm in your power as we find out strength in you, rather through the blood and only through the blood, and not the trembling before our enemies. Only through the blood of our Lord do we conquer. And as written in your word in Romans chapter 5, verse 5, and hope does not disappoint us because God has poured out his love into our hearts by the Holy Spirit, whom he has given us. It's in your holy name we pray these things. Amen. Amen. Call this meeting to order at 6:01 with the Pledge of Allegiance. Join me. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. You can be seated. Welcome, Mr. Walker.
It's just 6.
Hey, how are you, Commissioner Green?
Good. How are you?
Madam Altop, do we have a quorum this evening?
Yes, Mayor Hope.
Okay. And do we have any additions or deletions to our agenda?
Yes, Mayor Hope, if we could please add the city manager job announcement. I had emailed everybody for any feedback.
Under new business?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
number 3. And that's all from staff.
All right. Anything else from anyone from the dais for new business to add on? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of our agenda this evening.
So moved.
Motion from our Vice Mayor and a second from Commissioner Green. Any discussion on any of the items?
No. Not from me.
Okay. Anyone of our constituents with any comment regarding adopting in the motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor of the adoption of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Nays like sign. Motion carries 4-0. First order of business is public comment. Please contain your comments to 3 minutes if you can. And it can be on any subject matter, agenda or otherwise. Yes, ma'am. Welcome, former Commissioner Joni White.
Thank you. Last Monday, September the 15th, I met with Deanna to discuss some issues I had learned about the week before. The code to the employee door had not been changed, excuse me, had not been changed in at least 5 years. The code was accessible to all employees, past and present, family members of some of those employees, cleaning persons, 2 deputies, and possibly some past and present commissioners. The door does have an after-hours security alarm, but one could enter and leave with everything in the safe room before anybody could respond. The key to that safe room was hidden, but known to all employees. Protocol for verifying accounts and deposits. Deanna told me there is no protocol. This has been discussed in several meetings, and at least one citizen stood just recently telling us how it should be done. Currently, at that time, The deposit bag is placed in the bank drop box, and a receipt taking up to 4 days is sent back to the city. I told her protocol should be that the billing clerk verifies her daily receipts with the collected funds, noting any overage or shortage. It then goes to the bookkeeper, who goes over her numbers to verify. Then they produce the bank deposit and hand it over to the manager, who verifies it and makes a deposit. Each action should be initialed with the manager signing off with a receipt of deposit. Deposits should be made at least once a week. While in the office, a call came in from Duke Energy advising that they were cutting off 2 locations within the city of Archer for non-payment. I asked what else was outstanding, and was told Folds and Walker and Waste Pro. I, like you, know there are others, possibly including the former retired commissioner. During the meeting, I told Deanna she needed help. She felt like a bookkeeper and another public works employee was all she needed. I told her it wasn't working. I knew she was offended, but I also know there are too many things not getting done in the city, such as public records requests, codes, planning and zoning issues, and so much more. Deanna's owed a great deal of gratitude, but this isn't working. On Tuesday, I went back in to see if Deanna had contacted a locksmith to change the code. She said she had. An incident occurred which will not contain a lot of details to protect privacy issues, which resulted in me being held tightly and my departure blocked by an employee for 3 to 5 minutes. Several times I said, "Let me leave." I was followed outside by a crying, screaming employee. This was all witnessed by Deanna, who did nothing to intervene and try to control her employee. Interestingly, the next morning, Deanna held a meeting with employees. The result of that meeting was Scott being suspended until further notice. I believe one could perceive this as an unethical retaliation. Mayor and commissioners, I've sat where you are, wanting to save the city with every ounce of your being. I've listened to the advice given by several different people, hoping somewhere in those would be a miracle. It would take an act of God to save us at this point in time. You need to face the fact that you fought the good fight, but we're losing the battle. You're about to go to the max on our taxes. You're raising water and garbage rates to the highest in the county, but it's not enough. Dallas told you there's approximately $27,000 left in the budget that can be split between 2 outstanding bills. But what happens if we have a hurricane, a tree falls and destroys something, a lawsuit, or any number of other things? Don't lose this war by committing to this action to only have Alachua County come in and make us keep paying them until our debt is way down. It's unfair to the citizens of this city. Thank you for your time, and I hope this enlightens all of you.
Thank you, Ms. White. Yes, ma'am.
Karen Fiore. So I'm sure, well, I shouldn't assume, but I will assume that won't be addressed probably tonight, which is very sad. And if those claims are correct, shame, 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 once again. And past due invoices, transparency. You've had citizens up here asking for transparency. That would be something really transparent to say, hey, everyone knows we're kind of short on cash. These are the large expenditures that we have not yet been able to meet this month. Transparency, so then we're aware of that, and so when we see the next go around on the checks, it won't be such a surprise. But again, there's no transparency. The fact that everyone knew where that key was, it's scary. We were in front of the state, came to us and told us how terrible we were doing our jobs, and we still continue to do it the same old way. There's no accountability. You you, mayor, commissioners, you need to take the responsibility and either do something with your employees to make them follow the directions or get new employees. That should not have happened with the key, with your pay and your money sitting around your office, and all those people knew that. I'm just so disgustingly disappointed.
Thank you.
Nope. I don't know about no fees.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Jennifer Rossi. I share this on behalf of my sister, Reverend Melissa Pisco, pastor at First United Methodist Church. Good evening, friends. I'm sorry to not be able to be with you this evening. I'm currently on a civil rights pilgrimage in Alabama. Our work is looking at nonviolence protest as we call out the injustice in the world. Our time together has had us visiting the 16th Street Baptist Church, where a bomb went off, killing 4 young girls, as well as the Legacy Museum, where we have seen on full display the power of hate and what happens when we dehumanize other people. The work has been incredibly challenging, especially as we are beginning to see echoes of hatred and dehumanization in our own time. With that said, my prayer for you and for our community tonight is, as you gather, there will be a spirit in the room that recognizes the humanness of each one in the room. Friends, by the grace of God working in you, resist the temptation to demonize each other. Speak truth, certainly. Speak the truth, but speak it in love. Colossians 3:8 reads, but now you must put them all away. Anger, wrath, malice, slander, and obscene talk from your mouth. I close my words of encouragement with a quote from Reverend Dr. King, Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, Ms. Lopez.
Good evening, Roberto Lopez. I just wanted to ask, do we still have a cleaning person for the community center?
Yes, we do. They come every other week.
I have not been there, let me see, about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I went inside, and I don't know if I thought I had written you, Deanna, about the water in the bottom of the refrigerator. Did you remember getting a thing from me?
Jody White let me know, and John went and checked on it.
Okay, so they cleaned it all out.
They were supposed to, yes.
Would you please check?
Sure.
Because it was really accumulating. I don't know, maybe somebody spilled water in there, or maybe something wrong with the refrigerator, but it definitely needs to be checked.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening,
Lewandowski.
Bill Lewandowski, citizen. Good evening. So first of all, I think we ought to thank Joni White for her, what's it, 30 years of service, something like that? May I ask her, how many years were you serving the city? 28 years. 28 years? It's a long time. Long time. So she came up here and started talking about billing issues, potential for retaliation against the commissioner, accounting problems that we've heard multiple times in multiple reports. And all you can say is, thank you, Ms. White. Personally, I would be shocked if I was sitting there and I was told that. So, you know, I know that you've been told allegedly by your attorney that you should make comments during public hearing. You know, sometimes there is trying to protect yourself and then sometimes acting as a leader. And you're not acting as leaders, in my opinion, in this particular case. I have a question. I had sent a letter to you all and to the interim city manager in regards to the site plan. I'd like to know what the status of that is. So just to refresh your memory, I looked at the email chain on the site plan, and from what I saw, there was a letter that had come down from the North Florida Central Planning Council. I think I'm saying that right. And what is it?
We're Central Florida Regional Planning.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that had come down from them. They had asked for a couple of things and then have that information sent back to them so they could do a final review and have it come back. that trail is broken in the public record, at least that was provided to the public. So there is nothing that I can see that would have justified the interim city manager acting on advice that, from that planning council and from their recommendation for an engineer to review everything before she had approved that site plan. So I sent that letter. Is there any response on that?
Scott, did you want to go over, or do you want me to?
Why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, so I sent it to the attorneys and Sandra.
Okay,
Joseph
that's fine.
And
Yeah.
Scott Coons, like I told you. So Sandra called me and we found, I brought it with me, where when the engineer sent in the second on April 8th, there was this clause down here, because I know me and her both remembered reading that somewhere that, you know, what their option was. So me and her talked, and she agrees it's the zoning administrator's call, but I guess in my mind, that was, we already did the sound plan. The fire chief sent the email, because they have nothing to do with sound, and that's already in the public record. So if you're moving something outside to inside, to me, the sound would be less. So we would have to have that expense billed to either the city or a private citizen, because the contractor's not gonna pay for that again. I'm waiting on
Do you mind if I read this section so everybody knows what we're talking about? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So just so everybody knows, this is a letter from Demure Engineering, who is the engineer for the applicant, correct? Yes, the applicant. Okay, so just want to make clear who the letter is from. Okay, so it is a letter from the engineer, and it says, understood, if the engineer is not available, it might be an option for the city to accept the previous review and the approval by the engineer of the previous site plan design under the CUP application. The functional performance of the system is nearly identical, and additionally, the batch plant equipment is not placed within the building, thus reducing the potential concerns of this current site plan application. So you're getting advice from the applicant's engineer, correct?
Yes, but I mean, I had my own common sense that we won't want to do the expense again when they're just moving it from out inside the building. I just didn't, yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Attorney. Not at all.
You don't mind me?
No, please, no, please. Yeah, Bill, please.
Your time is stopped for 1 minute,
It's
Mr.
fine,
Lewandowski.
Scott, it's fine, it's fine. I'm not offended, it's all right.
That is not atypical for these kind of applications. And the reason is that an engineer is signing and sealing his stamp of approval and putting his license on the line. So we typically do take an engineer for the applicant's certification that it's met engineering standards. So that is not an atypical thing.
Okay, but, you know, of course, what we're talking about here is something that is unique to this small little town.
Understood?
Okay, and it's also, unlike Gainesville, where a plan of this size would be noticeable, but not nearly as something that has an impact as this particular site plan. So it would seem, and especially in the case of Deanna, so, and again, no offense, Deanna, but Deanna is not an engineer. She has on-the-job experience as a city clerk. She's been working as an interim city manager, but do you have a degree in engineering or any Bachelor of Science or anything? No, it's not a question, but it's, you're
Wrap it
saying you're
up,
using,
Mr. Lewandowski, your time is almost up.
well,
So what I would
The question-
suggest, Bill,
Yeah.
is that your questions are legitimate and they are good questions. Deanna is collecting the information and we'll review it and look at the status. And I think sitting down with the applicant's engineer, us, Deanna, whatever we need to do as staff to answer your questions fully, I think we don't have a problem doing that. And I think she's gathering the information so that we can do that. But I want to include everybody in that process, including the applicant.
and I don't have any problem with that. So just to be clear, the only thing I want is exactly the same thing as what the Regional Planning Council said. Have this thing come back, have the fire chief look at it again, have the engineer look at it, and then send it back to us for review. I mean, that's exactly what they said. and I didn't see any evidence that that happened. And so I'm asking for the same thing that these guys had asked for. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lewandowski, and just a comment back to you. I'm waiting for the county review and the county construction permitting review, and I'm waiting for my two answers to my two questions from the last meeting, sir.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Gene Arnold.
First of all, did you recognize that we have our state representative Chad Johnson here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome to Archer.
Cracker. Good to see you again.
Gene Arnold. Always interesting to hear folks that have this misinformation, and I can remember for a long time we were pushing a cement plant. We had that narrative. We're going to build a cement plant here in Archer, which we've established is a concrete batch plant, which is worlds different. Now, Mr. Walker, I know you represent City of Newberry. Do you know how many concrete batch plants they have there right now?
I know there's at least 2.
I think there's 3, and there's a fourth on the way.
That's right, because Tripp is putting.
That's right. You just approved one across the street from the other one.
Right, right.
Okay,
Right.
very good. Terrible batch plants. Going to have 4 of them in Newberry. Okay. Anyways, I really don't want to address things that, is there a difference between a CUP application and I think you did a very nice kind of your intro last meeting, by right? There's a difference there, right?
Correct.
So if questions are asked during the CUP application permit period, it's under more scrutiny, correct?
I would say that's correct.
Correct. So if those questions are being asked and then you no longer have a CUP, those things disappear. You understand?
Understood.
They're gone. There's no more, so you start over, essentially. You're with me on that, right?
I understand everything you're saying, and I don't think I have any disagreement with anything you've said.
Okay, well, you just said, well, we're going to sit down with the applicant, and I would hope that you could connect the dots yourself and understand
I
the
think
questions.
questions are being asked, and I want to be responsive.
Questions are being asked concerning a CUP permit,
And I have no problem with
correct?
the question being
Which
asked, but
I know you weren't here,
Mr.
went
Arnold,
away.
Mr. Arnold, please let one person speak at a time, please.
I think legitimate questions are being asked, and I would like to involve your side and Mr. Lewandowski and Deanna and the city.
You're
and then
talking,
respond
with all
to-
due respect, you're
Wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait,
a
wait, I didn't interrupt you, so let me
Order,
speak.
please.
I would like to respond in writing to Mr. Lewandowski, but I want to respond correctly. And I was not here when this initially occurred, so I want to gather the information. Listen, I've been part of the approval of 4 batch plants at least in my career, if not more. None other come to mind. I've been through litigation on these things before. I'm pretty familiar with what a batch plant does. I understand that you're moving it into your facility, and there's a lot going on there. And my understanding is that it's used by right, but I want to respond in writing to a resident that is asking a question, but I want to respond in an articulate and fair fashion, and I want to involve you in that process in order to do that. So that's all that I'm telling Mr. Lewandowski is, give me an opportunity to look at the records that we have. I want to involve you in that process, explain the process to Mr. Lewandowski, and then if he feels aggrieved further, then he has things that he can do as a result of that, legal rights that he has, if he feels the need to do that. But I think I have a pretty good understanding of where we're at and where we're headed, but I just want to collect all the information. So factually, when I respond to Mr. Lewandowski, I'm doing it in an appropriate manner. That's all.
Okay. Again, North Florida Regional Planning would have reviewed a CUP application. You understand that, right? Just nod. When that went away, a new application started, and then they reviewed a new site plan. You're with me on that, but in theory at least.
Understand?
Okay. So if you want to go back and you want to talk about things as part of the CUP permit process, that's water on the bridge. That didn't happen. I just want to clarify that, because it always seems that this is what can I dig up? How do I stop this evil concrete batch plant that Newberry's got 4 of them? And the city of Gainesville's got 4 of them, and most people don't even know where they're at. Don't even know that they live by them. And it was during the planning commission meeting where the gentleman who was on that went to the one over, there's 2 over by Depot Park, and talked to some of the residents. They didn't even know that there was one there. They were not even aware that there was one for Argos and Cemex right in that Porter's Quarters yard area. Anyways, what I really wanted to talk about was,
Less than a minute, Mr. On.
well, I wanted to elaborate because
We stopped your time for his discussion.
did Joni White turn in a resignation letter?
She did.
Did it say anything in particular? I'm just getting out. Was there any reason?
Other than her tenure, no.
No reason for her
Not what she
leaving?
elaborated this evening and shared with us, no, sir.
Okay, because she seemed to talk about,
Your time is up, Mr. Arnold.
my time's up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the input.
Good evening,
Hello, Mr.
Commissioners. Yes, Charles Stefano, thanks for taking my comments. My question is, will the Commissioners follow the process that our ordinances prescribe, and that the site plan will go back to the Northeast Regional, et cetera, for review?
North Central Florida Regional
Yes.
Planning Council.
Is it going to go
Yes.
back? Are you going to follow your process?
They're not an authorizing agent. They
But
give
they-
recommendations, which are the checklist that Mr. Lewandowski refers to.
Right.
Then there's review of specific review from a fire marshal or from even the engineer of record for
Understood.
the applicant
Understood.
to give information back to us, whether it was from the exercise of what originally was a CUP and it died and went away, but it created a new opportunity as well.
But didn't they say they wanted to see it again before it
No.
was approved by
No,
our?
they give those recommendations, and then if they're, I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but only if we have some amendment to it that needs their review and recommendations from the 6 elements that they look at.
Okay, so we're not going to follow our process.
So here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. So this is generating comment by the citizenry at every meeting that I've been back
Okay,
at
yeah,
now.
Thank you.
And there's questions as to process and procedure. So it's helpful for me to hear what it is that these questions are. And what I intend to do is answer Mr. Lewandowski's letter to Deanna. And I think what I also need to do is back up the steps, how this started, a conditional use permit, as Mr. Arnold said. It changed
Okay.
midstream in that process to use by right in an industrial zone property, much different
It's the
procedure.
opportunity.
So I need to outline that, I think, for the residents.
That would help.
So that you can see, okay, here's where we started, but this is where we finished, which is a different place.
Okay.
And what was done along the way, there's nothing to push under the covers or whatever you want. We can outline all of that and have that for you. And again, you can agree with what we did or disagree with it,
Okay.
but I think it's fair for you all to know what the legal steps were that went through in this process. And I think there has to be also an understanding, Mr. Mayor, when you have industrial zone properties, which you have quite a lot of it, including in the downtown area here in the city of Archer, there's uses by rights, there are special exception uses, conditional uses, and there are prohibited uses. So we all have to understand that these property owners have rights to use their land pursuant to their existing zoning that they have. And for the city to come in and say, no, we're not going to do that, first of all, we would not be successful in court by doing that, number
Okay.
one. Number two, it would open the city up to potential liability under there's a thing called a Burt Harris law where you're
Okay.
taking somebody's rights without compensation. So there's a lot that is here in these questions that are being asked, and
I think that would be
it's
helpful.
fair
Very helpful.
for us to outline all of that for the citizenry to say, okay, this is how this happened, this is where it happened, and the why, and then
And here's how
get
we
that
got
to
here.
you. And we'll
Okay.
try to get that done sooner than later.
I would hope, yes, please, sooner would be great.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr.
Thanks for
Trapani.
hearing my concerns.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? Okay. We'll open the next item with public hearing, starting at 6:30. Mr. Walker, would you introduce us to resolution number 2025-28?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution of the City of Archer, Florida, determining the amount of and fixing the final rate of ad valorem taxation for fiscal year 2025-26, providing for conflicts and severability, repealing all resolutions in conflict, providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is pass resolution 2025-28, and I'm sure Mr. Dallas is going to give us a little bit more info on that, or do you want me to talk about the rollback rate? That's what you want, okay. Mr. Mayor, I'll read a little bit more of the resolution. Whereas after due study and consideration, the City Commission, the City of Archer has determined it's in the best interest of the citizens to establish a final millage rate at 6.4322 mils on each dollar of valuation on the assessment roll for the city for the fiscal year 2025-2026. The whereas clauses are determined to be true and correct as a part of the resolution. The City Commission finds and determines the final millage for the fiscal year 2025-2026 is declared at 6.4322 mils, which is $6.4322 per 1,000 of assessed property within the City of Archer, that is the current year millage rate. The final adopted millage rate is 21.568% more than the rollback rate of 5.2910. So what the property appraiser does is looks at your overall value of your property in the City of Archer, absent properties that are exempt. And usually, when we're in an economy like we have right now, property values are increasing. You might annex some property to the city. And so the property appraiser and our staff looks at what is the amount of taxation that is necessary, given increase in value of properties, to give us the same amount of taxes that we had last year. And what that determination was is 5.2910, and that's what is called the rollback rate. This is under the TRIM process and procedure. And so in August, there's a mail out that all your residents receive that indicates, okay, if we pass our budget and we pass our millage, then this is what your taxes are going to be. And then, of course, there's an advertisement for this evening as to what your rollback rate is, what the percentage increase, I just announced that, and if the taxes go forward, then this is what your tax rate will be. When in November, the tax collector sends out the notices that you have to pay your taxes. So that's the process that Florida law has envisioned. And so tonight, we have to announce what the rollback rate is. We've talked about that. We talk about the current millage. And in just a moment, we're going to pass our budget resolution, which is a separate document. Now, with proviso that our rate is at the 21.568%, we will need a unanimous vote to pass that millage at that rate. We will we will need a unanimous vote of the commissioners in order to do so. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I've read the resolution by title, and I've also announced what the rollback rate is, and I've announced what our current millage rate is. And so it would be appropriate to put a motion on the floor and have it seconded, and then we'll have further discussion.
Motion,
So moved.
Resolution 2025-28. I have a motion from Vice Mayor. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Green. Discussion from the colleagues on the dais.
Well, I know when we last discussed this, we asked if you were able to reach out to the county. I know a lot has happened since then, but have we been able to contact anybody else to find out about the MSTU? So that, yeah, because if we can drop that.
I actually didn't know that was assigned to me.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought you were taking care of that, so I
No, because I
apologize.
had already called, and the person that called me back just told me it was in our best interest to keep it.
Okay.
Okay.
But I will.
But the exercise we were going through was to determine if we do that, what would be the opportunity for our citizenry within a year if we
Right.
move away from it, and what the return would be. Which we had one citizen just say, tell us what we're getting back to have this kind of inflation and the increases in prices with water and waste and things like that. Madam Altop, could you tell us what the current fiscal year 2025 millage rate is? It's not the rollback rate of 5.29, it's 5.5
479, 5.5479.
is this year's millage, and we're going to that 6.43. It wasn't 5.29, that's the rollback rate, but that's not the rate that our citizens paid for this past year. They paid more, so. Yes, ma'am.
With the current rate and the rate that we're looking at, and from being in an election class with Dallas on today, I know he's very good with numbers. I named him Speedy today, but but somehow or another can, because I'm calculating myself, but can you like calculate, just say for instance, if someone's home was worth 150,000, 200,000. The current rate versus what the new one, could you calculate that?
It's 90 cents a
can-
thousand.
Okay, I was just saying for the citizens, so they can get a, kind of, idea of what we would be looking at, or they would be looking at if we passed that increase tonight. Oh, you're good, you're good.
It's approximately a 90 cent per thousand increase.
Okay, so I was
You're
doing something like, yeah, I was doing something like,
General was just $1.
Yeah.
It's less than that, but
per 1,000.
yes, ma'am.
Right, so
Before,
I was looking at just their home for one.
If you have a taxable value of 150,000, so that means your house could be valued at 200,000 with a $50,000 homestead, it'd be about $130. It's $132.60.
impact
Increase. Okay, okay, did the
Assuming no
citizens
other
hear that?
increase
I
in
think
your
that's
valuation.
probably something that the citizens, did you all hear that? Everybody heard that? Okay.
anyone else? Comments?
I have,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, have another question. So, if we pass this tonight, would it help us tremendously? As to, I know a lot of people are concerned, or that we will lose our charter and so forth. Would this help us? Or, yeah, how much I should say? I'm not asking for the amount, but do you all think that this would really?
Mr. Mayor, I would say, without some significant cuts in other parts of your operating budget, you need to raise the revenue one way or another. Especially the budget that is presented before you tonight has some significant cuts in it already. I can go through those, but I was planning to on the budget part. And it is still not chipping away at the debt you owe in your water fund. It is putting some money back into your wild spaces, but it is not committing to the payback that you had committed to the county. You know, and you're already behind a year on that. I won't recommend that you should raise your millage, but I don't see another way without substantial, significant cuts to your service levels to generate that revenue.
And that introduces the MSTU plan or consideration that we were asking prior for the next year, and how that will impact and reverse this and actually give back to our ratepayers and citizenry. I mean,
Yes, sir, Mr.
and
Mayor,
yes,
if you
that's
have
12
those
months later,
conversations.
but yes. And they will actually have a savings beyond what they're paid this past year. But it's still an exercise in recovery and stabilization of our financial position as a municipality.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, and yeah, not to try and justify it, but you guys are not in the boat by yourselves. City of Alachua has raised their millage, City of Gainesville has raised their millage,
Yep.
City of High Springs has raised their millage.
That's not why we're unique to ourselves, and what our exercise is and our recovery and stabilization, as we are as transparent as we can be with our citizens that participate in our meetings. So this is one of those exercises. Yes, ma'am.
So I want to know, Commissioner Green, did that satisfy your question, his answer? Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I never heard you.
Just questions and answers, but, okay. Anything?
I was gonna say what Dallas just said as I talked to other mayors and commissioners from other cities to see that we are not in this boat by ourselves. A lot of them are raising the millage, and you know those citizens is just as angry as the citizens in Archer, because I think every city is going through something. We're not alone. A lot of cities are raising it, so it's not like we're just picking on the citizens of Archer to make up a debt that we have. It is a debt that we have, and I think all of us commissioners, the mayor, and everyone else is trying to get out of this to see some light at the end of the tunnel, and this is just one of the ways that we can see a little bit of light. It's not going to solve all the problems we have, and I think as the commissioners, all of us are trying to figure out ways that we can cut costs and get out of this debt that we're in. And again, not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're not the only city that's going through some stuff. I mean, some things. So I just wish we can continue to work together in harmony and just to work some things out. Thank you.
Anyone else from the dais? Constituents in the audience, comments, please, regarding the motion.
Bob
Hello.
Kosicki, citizen. My question is, looking at all the numbers, which I'm sure you did, yes, we probably do need to raise it. What's the difference from what we already received from all our taxes, and with this raise, how much difference is that? Thank you.
Find the right spreadsheet.
At 30,000 feet, it's assisting us with balancing our budget at this
I
point
understand.
for a plan for the 12-month.
I didn't say it's not needed.
No, I'm just sharing that with you at the 30,000 feet.
I'm just saying,
And then the
how much
plan
are
to
we really
reduce it.
gaining from that as an only option. What's that? I'm
So
sorry.
your fiscal year 2025 current year budget for ad valorem taxes is 296,000, and your budget for 2026 is 358,000. So $66,000 increase.
So really not that much that the city's gonna get.
Well, your whole general fund budget is about 900,000.
I
So
understand.
proportionally, it's a
But
pretty
proportionally,
good chunk.
right.
And unfortunately, the way the Florida law is set is not a lot of levers the commission can pull to
Right.
generate additional revenue.
Okay, that's answers my
But
question.
with the plan moving forward to reduce it back. So, thank you, Mr. Yes, sir, Ms. White?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
you just got told it would increase it by about, how much?
Si-
68?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how much we owe Gator Sketch?
90.
Hmm?
200.
I don't think it's that much.
It was that much.
I don't know, we haven't paid him in a while.
I couldn't hear what the.
Gator Sketch, the architects for the plan that we had to return.
That has not been mentioned in a while, but that would probably pay it. But it won't touch that $600,000 loan we have,
Yes, ma'am.
nor will it touch Kimley Horn every time they do something for us. And we're looking at a wastewater system where they're gonna be working on it, and they're gonna be charging us a fee. You're going up on our taxes. Look out here. Most of us are senior citizens. You have very few young people in this town. Most of us are seniors. We live on a fixed income. You add $200 to my bill, my taxes each year, it makes a difference.
Yes, ma'am.
It does to me. I mean, that'll buy 2 months of groceries for me. It won't let me eat out with it, but it will buy the groceries.
Yes, ma'am.
It's wrong. I mean, it's wrong. We're not gonna come out of this. We can't come out of this. You're gonna raise our rates to the highest, and it's gonna pay maybe one bill. That's not fair.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Yeah,
Lewandowski.
Lewandowski, citizen. So I just want to reiterate something that Joni has said, is that this is not going to touch the principal of the $600,000, you know. So just to take a step back, we have to pass we have to pass this rate because you have to have a number for the budget, correct? I mean, that's how this
A
works.
balanced budget.
So,
sir.
yeah, you have to have a number to plug in for revenue so you can try to balance the budget. Problem you have is that we never talk really about the long-term debt, as I tried to ask you guys to do a number of times, to have that listed out. So we have all these long-term debts, of course, the $600,000 is a part of that. It's obvious that we have cash flow issues, as we heard from former Commissioner White a little while ago. So it's one thing to have a budget, it's another thing to have the cash flow in order to pay your bills. And so what I'm hearing is that we've got some significant issues. So we can go ahead and pass this and try to increase our rates. And by the way, it's not just the increase for the property tax, it's also an increase of about 7.5% rate increase for water, about 2% increase roughly for waste.
50 cents a month.
Yeah, something along those lines. So, and of course, then there's the whole, what's gonna happen with valuation. So we're talking about some significant amounts that are gonna come up, and it's not gonna get us any better. And by the way, we still have this other audit, and we don't know what's gonna come out of that audit yet. My guess is they're gonna find even more debt when this other audit comes out, which of course is late. So, it seems to me that we're just spiraling, and I don't hear a plan. We have to pass a budget because it's required by law. Where is the plan? Where is the business plan to get us where we need to be? We don't have it. We just don't have it,
Sir,
Mr.
I'm not
Hope.
going to justify and argue with you, but we have talked extensively about surplus properties and equipment as another exercise in revenue.
You were a finance officer
and
for a company,
cuts.
right?
We have had over 30, sir, I don't need to be challenged by you in my former life. I'm a public sub-worker right now. So what does that have to do with anything in my public servant responsibility?
Numbers,
Mr. Lewandowski,
Mr. Hope, there are no numbers. I hear things
We
about
have
surplus
had-
property.
we have
That's
had
fine.
multiple meetings
We've had
in
talk.
preparing this.
Mr. Hope, we've had talk.
No, sir.
We've had talk, we've had talk. Where is the spreadsheet that shows us
If you'll
how to
hold
get
one
out of
second,
debt?
please, sir. Not to put you on the spot, Mr. Lee, but what percentage at 30,000 feet, have we started the budget review and ended it as far as funds and items that have been cut? Just at 30,000 feet. I have a number, but I want to validate it with someone that's worked very diligently on trying to prepare a balanced budget that was accurate to our scale of what we have to work with revenue and expenses. With a $980,000 total budget right now that we're looking at, correct? Plus or minus? Yeah.
While he's looking at that, Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
can update you on a couple of things, and
Yes, sir.
and the citizens as well. You know, this is a difficult position we're in. I think Deanna, our interim city manager, has done a fantastic hire from all accounts. She's got a very able bookkeeper that she has hired, and that's a huge step in the right direction so that we have a handle on the finances. So I think she's making movements to get us stabilized from a day-to-day business standpoint. I had a conversation over this week with, let me go back. I had a conversation 4 weeks ago with Kimberly Horn and said, let's direct our level of communication through my office, and you've got your nose out of joint in this situation, and let's finish out the permit that we have with DEP. Let's get that done. They declined to do that, and they said, no, we don't. Our team says we don't want to work any longer. And so there's a process under the Florida Administrative Code that can hand over the work that they did to Woodard & Curran. I met with Woodard & Curran this week, and they're willing to do that. They go through a process of no-go or go on a project, and their team met, and they said they want to help Archer, and they want to take the work that was done by Kimberly Horn, and they want to turn it around as cheaply as they possibly can to benefit the city of Archer and get our sewer plant underway. And we have $5.5 million in grant money to do that, and there's money there to get that process done. So it's full speed ahead to get that process underway. Now, when you have a sewer plant and you have your own sewer system that enables properties in your industrial area and your commercial areas, and all of a sudden you have a greater tax base. And when you have a greater tax base, including the Arnold cement, concrete batch plant.
There we go.
I don't want to add fuel to a fire. But you have a different tax base. When that becomes operational, that brings additional revenues to the city.
And all of this is part of the plan.
There's a
We keep being
plan
told
that-
there's no plan. There is, and there are exercises that we're going through to go from financial chaos to financial recovery to stabilization to growth.
And there's other diversification of revenues that we're going to look at and try to undertake this coming year. Cities have to have diversified revenues. They can't survive on ad valorem taxes solely and permit fees and that sort of thing. And we need to do that. These are things that we need to do. And obviously, as Mr. Dallas has said many times, we need to look at tightening our belt with cuts, but we need to also increase our revenues. So I think there's the makings of a plan. We need to now start the process of defining more readily what that plan looks like, and then start building on that plan. But the elements of that plan are there, and one of the big pieces of the puzzle is the wastewater treatment plant, and that looks like it's going to happen, and we took some huge steps in that way along that line this week, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Walker, also an opportunity we have with our recognition from the state of Florida with this spring session to have $1.25 million. It has restrictions on it, and I certainly don't want to put a representative joining us in the back on any notice at all, but I know that if I have to do letter writing or visiting, or certainly go to Mr. Johnson's office and speak with him specifically about, opportunities, it keeps getting thrown at us about the Ameris line of credit and that volume of money there that's been utilized for the continuance of the wastewater project. There's been no malfeasance with that fund. It's paid for the wastewater projects. I don't want to let go of that opportunity to have that 1.25 by exception be considered to pay that horrendous 6.75% interest on that. That's constricting us in our ability to operate and manage on a monthly basis and not have a plan to that for solving it. Once again, another part of the plan. It's in the works, and it's very embryonic stage at this point, but I haven't met with anyone that says absolutely not, it can't be done until, by exception, it's at least considered. And Representative Johnson is my first stop before I go to Tallahassee with letter writing and things like that. That's just my little bailiwick project to help us. I mean, someone has to speak to that because it's just sitting there not being properly utilized at this point.
The other point that I wanted to make, and I forgot to make it, is that I don't know enough about the sheriff's MSTU and all of that, but perhaps inviting Sheriff Scott to come out here and have a discussion with us
He's been
to
here in
answer.
the last 2 months with us, but
I'm sorry?
he's been here already in the
All
last
right,
2 months.
okay.
But
Well,
not specific to this exercise. Vice Mayor has gone to representatives in his office.
But perhaps an invitation to
Yep.
Sheriff Scott to come out and have that
To
discussion.
even negotiate
There
the
you go.
consideration
There you
of, reduction of that. That's on our plan list as well. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I have to answer your question, and I have one
Yes,
other
sir.
comment I'd like to make. So just as a point of reference, in fiscal year '24, your general fund, you spent $1.4 million.
Yep.
Your budget in fiscal year '25, I don't have your original budget, but your currently adopted, Karen has it.
Of course I do.
What's your original
Thank you,
general
Karen.
fund budget?
General fund budget was
1 million.
1043893. It was 157,000-ish more than your 26 proposed.
Perfect. It's 156,000 more than the proposed. Do you want, the first budget that we presented to you earlier this year was at 159,000 with a $13,000 surplus. After the last workshop, your budget's 843 with a $42,000 surplus. I do want to point out for the commission's consideration, this budget is adding 1.5 staff members to your budget. It's a full-time employee in your public works department and a half-time city manager. So if the commission does want to eliminate positions, those positions are currently vacant. Deanna's probably going to punch me for saying that.
But at 30,000 feet, it's a reduction of almost $250,000 from what we started with, correct? It was $1 million and now it's 884?
Yes.
Well, let's, apples to apples, you had Wild Spaces in
That's true.
last year's, yeah.
But you
so-
did not have a surplus in your budget last year.
Last year
This
at
year,
all.
you do have the $42,000 surplus. And then on a similar note to the Representative Johnson conversation, yesterday, City of Newberry staff met with Senator McLean on Newberry issues. City of Archer came up with our regional wastewater. The conversation was positive. I highly encourage the commission to reach out to Senator McLean.
Yes.
He does sit on the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee. He seemed
Yep.
very willing to have conversations and help the City of Archer. So I
Maybe
highly
by
recommend
exception,
you.
but it's worth a
They're
discussion.
not in session right now. It's a great time to meet with your local legislative delegation.
And my apologies, Representative Johnson, for throwing a fish out at a meeting, but it's still part of the plan and recovery and stabilization. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you, Karen
Thank you.
Fiore. So, as a citizen sitting here, listening to Mayor, with all respect, and to the attorney, when you talk about that there's a plan, the plan is not when you're sitting up there just trying to tell us that. We need things in writing. We need a checklist. We need something substantial in our hands to say, yes, we're tracking positive, we're tracking negative. We don't get that. And
Yeah.
that's why we're frustrated.
Okay.
And just hearing that there's gonna be a plan and there's a making of a plan is not enough for us. It's been way too long. We're now on over a year when we got in trouble, and we're still sitting here.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Lopez.
I agree with Ms. Fiora. I was here 7 years with the commissioners, and I've always preached plan, plan, plan. I don't hear anything. I agree. I know that we're gonna get the sewer system, but from what I understand, that's way down the road, maybe around 2028, am I right? About when it will be active. That has nothing to do with where we are right now. From what I'm looking at the budget, we are in bad shape. Right now, there are about 3 hurricanes out there. And I think I saw something like $5,000 for trees. Am I right?
Yes.
If a hurricane comes here tomorrow, and I was here during the time when we had a hard time trying to collect all the trees and everything that was, this place was crazy. Can you imagine, and where are we gonna get them funds?
FEMA.
What are we gonna do? FEMA is not gonna come right away, and you know it. It takes a while.
It's still a federal resource.
You have to go, I was here, you have to go through a process
Yes, you
to
do.
get that FEMA money floating in here. But you're not gonna tell me if a big old tree fall across my road and that's the only road I can get from my house, I gotta wait till FEMA come? No. Anyway, I don't wanna argue about this, Mayor. But the other thing I wanna say too, and I can appreciate what you're saying, Commissioner Penny, about, other places are in the same, pretty much the same boat, but it's not the same boat. They didn't accumulate this debt that we have. You know what I'm talking about? They have different reasons why they are raising their millage and their whatever. Ours is totally, totally different. So I'm telling you right now, all of you, you need to stop and think about what you're doing. I tell you, if after looking at that budget, I don't see where we're going, what we're gonna do. And Laura Casella sent in a lot of suggestions as to what we can do to cut, do this, and I did, everybody did, and it's not happening. So I'm telling you right now, if a tree fall across my road tomorrow from a storm, I want it moved.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Anyone else regarding the motion on the floor? Yes, sir,
Hi,
Mr.
Charles
Stefano.
Stefano. I just want to reiterate what Karen and Bill have indicated. We need to see those reports. And I would like to ask you folks not to pass this tax increase. We shouldn't have to pay for what's occurred at the dais and things, and especially given what Joni White just revealed to us today about still. You have, as commissioners, have done nothing for the last year to right the ship. I'm not saying, as you've indicated last time, Mayor Hope, that you're looking at these, properties you can sell and old equipment you can sell. That's great, but that's not gonna put a dent in what we're looking at.
I committed to you that I would provide you the list of opportunities that this will afford us moving forward in the next 12 months. I will have that for you at the October 13th meeting.
Well, you know what I'd rather see? I'd rather see the reports. I would
Yes, sir.
rather to see your plan, just like the citizens have asked for. We need to see a plan. You run it like a business. How do you know where you're even at? You
Yes, sir.
don't. You have no idea. So forget about that.
Yes, sir.
I want to see a plan. We want to see a plan.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm asking for. By raising taxes and increasing the revenue doesn't mean it's going to go to the right place. Clearly, we've seen by the actions of this commission that you can't manage our money, can't manage the tax money of the citizens. And I get the fact that other cities are in the same position, but I have no faith that if you got more money, we'd be in a better financial position, because you have done nothing to this date to show us anything different. Show me something different.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I ask one question? I know I've already been up.
You come back up this way.
I just have one question, and you brought it up. Has FEMA paid us for the trailers from last year?
Yes, we just got it yesterday.
So
Yes.
a year later we get it.
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that total approximately?
It was $78.90, I believe. $7,890.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And the trailers cost us $12,500 each.
I can't remember if it was, I believe so, yeah. I learned my lesson. Yes, ma'am.
That's gonna make us a lot.
Thank you, Ms. White. Oh, I thought, Mr. McSherry, you were coming forward. Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Okay, let's go to a vote.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
before
ma'am.
we go to a vote, I understand how a lot of the citizens are feeling, but do we have any other choice, or do we just remain in the state that we're in?
Yes, ma'am.
So, that's my question, and I want, the citizens to think about that. I mean, cause me, myself, I want to do the best thing for Archer. And I'm hearing everyone, and I appreciate what everyone is saying, and I know I can't please everyone, can't satisfy everyone, but I try to be fair in what I do. And so I'm only here to do what I feel is best for Archer. So I hear everyone's concern, but does anybody have any other solution? I mean, or do you just want us just to phase out, or what's the other solutions? I mean, and I honestly mean that. I mean, I'm open to hear that. I mean, I'm open to hear it. Do we just phase out and not be a municipality, or do we have to take some steps? It's not going to be the absolute answer or solution to the problem, but we have to do something to get us started in the right direction. I understand that people are concerned because of what happened in the past. I accept responsibility for that. I'm not upset with anybody. I accept responsibility. We may have failed at some part. We can't keep going back to that. I like to use a saying that I hear a preacher say, keep moving up and forward. So are we trying to stay where we are and just phase out, or do we want to keep moving?
Are you asking for comments, or?
Well, the comment period I think is about over, but I just want you all to think about that. Unless that is something that everybody wants to happen. But if we're trying to recover and help I think I come up with about a $62,000 difference in what we would have this year compared to last year's. So no, with $62,000 fits us? Will it even get us halfway there? No, but it will help.
Correct. And
So,
that's only for,
every little bit
that's only for the tax.
helps. Right,
Yeah.
that's only from the taxes. So I just wanted to, well, I don't know if the chairman wants to open that back up. I think, I just want to make that last comment before I vote it.
For order, is that the pleasure by consensus
No, let's
of
go
this
to a
dais,
vote.
or do we want to go to a vote?
We can go to vote.
Anyone else? Okay, let's go to a vote. All those in favor of resolution number 2025-28, final rate at ad valorem taxation for fiscal year 25-26, as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Nays, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is our budget resolution. I'll read this by title only. This is resolution number 2025-29, a resolution of the City of Archer, Florida, providing for the approval of the proposed 2025-2026 fiscal year budget for the city of Archer, Florida, providing for conflicts and severability, and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass resolution number 2025-29 as read by title only.
Thank you, sir. Do
Yes,
I have a
sir.
motion? Do I
Mr.
have a
Mayor?
motion? Oh, go.
So moved.
Can, I have a motion just for discussion, then I'll introduce you, if that's all right, Mr. Lee.
Second.
A motion from Vice Mayor Bailey and a second from Commissioner Green. Discussion. Dallas, would you like to present?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, just to recap some of the decisions that have been incorporated into the budget that is before you tonight. We have reduced the recreation employee to 30 hours a week. You've eliminated your West Farms contract. You've reduced the bookkeeping position from full-time to 20 hours a week. You do have a full-time position vacant in Public Works. Reduced the on-call to one person on call per week. You have a part-time city manager at $45,000 a year, a water increase of $3.50 a month, a solid waste increase of 50 cents a month. As a reminder, for both of those items, you will need to bring back either resolutions or ordinances to enact those changes. You also have the commission reduction in your salaries, and then subsequent to the adoption of the tentative budget, I've reduced the insurance costs based off your switch from FMIT to PRM.
Which is a substantial savings.
About $18,000 savings. That concludes my comments. If you happy to answer any
All
questions.
part of our plan actions from previous meetings and budget workshop reviews. Thank you. Thank you very much for you and Madam Altop's input in that. Are there any questions from the dais regarding what's presented in front of us this evening?
Dallas, I have a question for you, because I know you were saying I know we're down one employee, with the Public Works, but we do still have that budgeted in here?
Yeah, in your
To hire
current
another,
budget, you
okay, I
have
wanted to make sure.
full-time FTE.
Yes,
as a vacancy
okay.
in
That's
your
the
public works
Justin
department.
position.
Right, okay.
We remain that.
I wanted to make sure. I was pretty sure we did, but I wanted to make sure of that before we vote on it.
Any other questions from the dais? Commissioner Penny, anything?
I don't.
No? We'll wait one moment for our Vice Mayor to get back. I have one clarification to just share, Madam Altop, regarding our accountant position that we filled with the temp force individual. That is a part-time position, or is she working 40 hours a week at this time?
No, she's working, we're still a whole year behind. I keep saying
So
it. I know
she's
everyone's hearing me,
focused on the
hopefully.
reconciliations? that-
No, she's trying, majority of transactions, deposits, I think all transactions were not revenue, let me say it right, were not entered into QuickBooks, so she's having to entering all of them.
Okay.
And some of the bills were paid just not the normal way. I don't know if I'm saying it right, Dallas. But anyways, yeah, she's working through it, but she can't get to the reconciling until she gets us where
It
we
was
can.
aligned in the chart of accounts where they belong.
Yes, but
There's a number of transactions, a lot of transactions that have not been recorded into your accounting system.
Okay.
Particularly,
To be able to provide an accurate
Right.
profit and loss.
correct, so all the deposits that,
through
for
reconciliation.
utility billing are having to be posted back into
Okay.
your books. And then a number of payments that went just through the bank, or she's posting back into your books.
Okay. Do we have any idea that timeline of when, with Dallas is still continued assistance or whatever that's gonna take?
It kind of depends on how much time Dallas can allocate, because
Okay.
she really needs to actually work more than 40 hours. It's a tremendous amount of work, unless Dallas disagrees with me. I mean, there's just no way they can work 20 hours a week
We're in
at this
discussion
time. I'm not saying in the
somewhere
future, but right now, absolutely not.
Okay.
And real quick, I checked into outsourcing, like Joni White had. The lowest I found was $100 an hour. That's a lot of money, in my personal
okay.
opinion. I'm kind of not sure about the outsourcing, but until I get more quotes, but
Right.
it's quite high.
Okay.
Just so that's where we're at with accounting. And if you think about it, absolutely everything we have going on here is from accounting, so I think it's worth spending the money on getting whatever we decide to do to make sure.
In that exercise, if in our next meeting, October 13th, just based on the procedural action that we're taking, if we could get an idea, the pinpoint when we would have that. I know the auditors are still gathering their information for this fiscal year, but if you could put that on things to try to, with Ms. Loretta's feedback as well and Dallas Lee's review, just how many more months have we got to try to reconcile?
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just clarify for the commission's understanding. You know, I've not been doing the accounting work for the city for a number of months since I stepped away to be interim manager in Newberry, answering any questions Deanna and Loretta have, but I don't want the commission to think I'm also in there helping with the
Right.
accounting, on top of your
I
being
understand.
full-time
I
accountant.
understand.
It's-
I
it's
just
all
still
under-
rely on you with your
Of course.
history of being here.
Willing to help, I just don't want to think you're
When
using
you
two
were-
resources for this and you only have one.
No, I'm not assuming that at all. I just want your opinion regarding your financial support that you've given us thus far. Vice Mayor, just as a courtesy, we waited till your return if you had any feedback regarding the motion on the floor or the budget specifics that
No.
were presented this evening. No?
No.
Okay. Constituents in the audience, feedback on the presented budget at its second hearing. Yes, ma'am.
Karen Fiore. So, a recommendation for your resolution for your budget. I'm not quite sure why we don't put the actual budget amount in the body of your resolution. I think that would be smart to do and be helpful. As a note, your budget ad, so I wanted to make sure that the numbers were correct. So I used the budget that was reported in your backup today to try to tie out to your budget ad, and it didn't work. And so when I talked to Dallas, he said the reason being is because he went off of the previous budget prior to finalizing this one tonight, which makes sense, but here's the issue. You don't update your website with the correct data. So all of the adjustments that were made during that last meeting that Dallas took down and did it properly, you don't reflect that anywhere on your website. So Karen goes out to your website, looks at prior years or prior meeting, and those numbers don't reflect the numbers that are going to be in these. So all my numbers don't work. Well, most of them do, but quite a few don't. So that's one thing. And you don't ever update the information, and that's very frustrating to the citizens who are trying to compare and make sure that there's a second set of eyes on these documents, because again, Dallas is amazing and Dallas has done wonderful things, but Dallas is human, and you want to have somebody put a second pair of eyes on all the work that comes out of this office. Nothing should come out of this office without someone looking at that and checking it. So with that said, I gave you a piece of paper here. So last year, your budget ad, which was this here, was 1685393 was your total budget for all your funds. The calculation, you would take your current budget ad, find the difference from prior year's budget ad, divide that, what that percentage is, and that is what should be up here on your budget ad as your increase over last year's percentage. And I'm not able to do that on any of them. So I was like, well, I must be missing something. So I used your adopted, according to the newspaper budget ad, which was different than your resolution that you adopted last year, 2024-25. Those numbers were different from your budget ad. The reason for that is that because $157,500 was just randomly added to this budget ad. Again, did not match your adopted resolution budget. So I said, okay, well, let me try that number. That number doesn't work. So the newspaper ad didn't work. The budget adoption didn't work. And I was like, oh, they must have used the revised budget that was done in December. So I went back and looked at that number, and that calculation doesn't work. So whatever number that Dallas was provided is not gonna work for your budget ad based on those three sources that I provided you. So that's one thing. Your budget ad on the bottom here, your transfers out, the 26,000, it's just, you didn't transfer that all the way down to your total line. So when you get audited on this, maybe you won't get, they won't get, the person doing it won't notice it, but your totals need to be in your total column here. Your calculation worked, you do have your transfers in there, but you don't show it on that line, so that's an issue. As far as some of the numbers in the budget, the fact that we're getting rid of the cemetery mowing is a little concerning to me. I can't imagine that the employees are going to spend their time mowing the cemetery in and out of each of those spaces. It seems like that would be a lot of time for your employees to work on that cemetery. I just don't see how you can say that that was saving when you're probably now gonna have to pay your employees more to even do that. And the last couple things, you show rate increases for solid waste and your garbage and your water fund. And I was here last time during this the commission meeting, and I questioned why you're not doing that by resolution. And the answer I got, you first have to notify the customers in the bill. So has that been done? My question.
Yes, they were sent, the notice was sent in everybody's bill.
They were mailed out.
When was that?
They were put in the
Last
post
week.
office Monday,
I-
Monday, I believe.
You all were licking.
So where's the resolution to adopt those rate increases for tonight?
We have to notice them first. You have to give a certain amount of time, so it will be on the November agenda. That's what it has in the letter that everyone should get with current rate, the new rate. how much it's
Okay,
in.
US Postal
so
Service is
Dallas came
taking-
up with rate increases based on the full 12 months. So you're now saying not until November, so you're trying to adopt a budget with those full amount of rate increases, which technically, that's not what you're gonna get for your rate increases. So it doesn't seem like it's a balanced budget. It seems to me like you should probably be reducing those two revenue streams. Once you get your adopted resolution, then you can make a budget adjustment or reduce it for those months that you know you're not gonna receive that additional funding. It's not transparent to me at all. And I think that's all. So my biggest concern though is that percent increase does not match. I'm not saying that Dallas number that he was provided didn't calculate that way, but again, if we had more than one set of eyes looking at the documents, we would have been able to find these errors, and we didn't do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Arnold.
Jean Arnold, fantastic job. Always impressed when she dives into it and does that due diligence for you guys. Question, are both of these, it's a little bit of a different font maybe, is this QuickBooks or is this Edmunds?
It's Excel with data exported from QuickBooks.
Okay. I guess it gets back to, are we using QuickBooks? Are we using Edmunds? Are we going forward? How is that going to work? And to that point, what we had received in previous years, which was really nice, was it would have the budget and then it would have the previous year. So it would have a column with 25 and 24 and things as a historical comparison. And I understand that maybe you've changed cost codes or done something different here that you couldn't necessarily match them up and you're cleaning that up. But going forward now, how can we hopefully, whether it's every quarter, I don't think you can do it every month, do some type of profit and loss where we can see how things are comparing to the budget? Are we on track? You know, anything skewed off with a new air conditioner, that the numbers, that's always been something that I think I've talked about
Every month,
every month.
all of us. Yes, sir.
Profit and loss, how are we doing? And I guess the only way we find that out is once the accountant comes in. But I know you guys weren't really happy with the accountants and how they have done the audits in the past. So, just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Bill Lodowski, citizen. So we're here because we have to be, right? I mean, the state says you have to pass this budget. It's your elected responsibility to go through this. That's why we're here.
Requirement of the municipality.
Correct,
Yes, sir.
right. State law says we need to do this. So here's the issue. So already we know there's going to be some revenue stream issues because of when the water rates are going to come in. So we have that issue already. We know there's currently cash flow problems. So we heard from former Commissioner White. No surprise there. We've had a financial emergency, formal financial emergency, and perhaps if the governor had stepped in and had provided the oversight that state law says he could have provided, maybe things would have been better, but that didn't happen either. So now we're at a place in time where frankly, and I'm speaking for myself, but I don't think that my voice is much different from many others, is that I have zero confidence that you're going to be able to execute this budget properly and have the cash flow, be able to pay the bills. We're already late on bills. It's already an issue. You don't have enough staff to do what has to be done. You can't even catch up with the reconciliations. Now, that's not all your fault. You stepped into a bad situation. So, I'm not pointing a finger at you. It's just the facts. Commissioner Green, you asked what we should do. It's my opinion, nothing new here. I think that we need to temporarily give up our charter. If we had been a corporation, we would have been under court-mandated bankruptcy. We would have been, and somebody would have provided oversight. Governor should have done that. He decided not to for whatever reason. So now it's worse. I think that what should happen is that at least temporarily the county should take over. They have the staff, the resources to get this ship righted, to make the structural changes that have to be made, because you can't do that type of planning and execution while you're trying to do the day-to-day stuff when you don't even have the resources to do it. You've got one lady who has like 5 different hats already. You've got a part-time guy who's gal guy, whoever it is, who's doing the budget. Dallas comes in when
Dallas
he can.
Lee.
No, I'm about to do bookkeeper. She's full-time, I guess, he or she?
It's a lady.
A lady, thank you. Okay, lady, she's doing that. Dallas can help us when he can, but he has a full-time job. I mean, I understand why so many cities in this state, I know it's not just us, have problems. Commissioner Penny mentioned that the other day, last meeting. So it is an issue that is not just us, for sure, but it's a problem. And I just don't see how we can get from here to here with really, I don't see a plan. I'm a planner. I don't see numbers. I don't see spreadsheets. I don't see plan. I don't see flow charts. Don't see a per chart. I don't see anything. I hear lots of assumptions. Lots of assumptions. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Skinner.
Thank you. Brenda Skinner, citizen. I wasn't able to look at the budget until this evening, but there are 2 things that do concern me. One of them, Ms. Fiore has already mentioned, but I would like to also speak on that, and that's doing away the cemetery contract mowing. This is one of the final things that we do for our loved ones. And to go to a cemetery and have grass this high because nobody has mowed the grass, and have people coming in when you're trying to lay your loved ones to rest, I think would be absolutely devastating. And as I look down through here, yes, we're trying to save money, but I also look down through here and I see that the senior center, which I believe is no longer active, we have no maintenance, we have no expenses other, but we're paying $1,200 for utilities. If this was any other house in town, the utilities would have been cut off by now.
Thank you.
So if we were to cut off the utilities, perhaps we could put that money towards paying for the grass to be mowed at the cemetery. Because our public works people are already pushed to the limits. And to ask them to go out and to mow the grass, I think is a little ridiculous. So please consider mowing the grass the way we've always done it. And that's with a contract with the people who have always taken really good care of that cemetery because they have family there.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't know what y'all are thinking. Do we have, am I understanding that we only budgeted for a part-time bookkeeper, but we're going with a full-time for now, temporarily?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're already eating up that 47,000 we had, or whatever, 60 that we had, whatever it was. We're already eating into it. Have we budgeted for a special election?
No, ma'am, I was gonna bring that up, that we do.
Have we budgeted for the junior commission? It's $500 a year. I paid it last year and we'll do it this year if the city can't afford it. But
We've spoken to that and said we would send out a sponsorship letter.
that was, no, that wasn't the junior commission. That was the, scholarship. This is junior commission that gets $500 a year budget. I mean, those are three things right there that are gonna take away the money that,
We've usually
And Commissioner-
spent. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Green, I understand where you're coming from. I honestly do. To make the city work, we've got to go up on it. But what you're doing is increasing my taxes, then you're adding an increase in my water and garbage, and then in 28, you're gonna add about around $80 for wastewater.
That's the one I'm scared of.
Mr. Johnson, this is gonna be a ghost town. We can't afford to live here.
Is that all? Thank you, Ms. White. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, before we go to a vote, I know I heard a couple of things about the cemetery, and I brought up that concern as well at the last meeting because I spoke with Calvin, and they said that's gonna be pretty tough for them because most of it is not mowing, it's weed eating, and, it takes a while to do that, so I don't know if we want to completely cut that out of our budget at West Farms.
Mr. Mayor, I will remind the commission that you have a
Deadline.
Approval budget.
Yes, but I was going to say, I was going to remind the commission that you do have a new full-time position budgeted in your Public Works Department that was intended to be Justin's position to move back. So your options include to fill that position for your cemetery, to cut that position to a part-time and use that money either to offset your contracts, to offset increasing the bookkeeper's hours, or you could eliminate that position as well and reallocate those funds. I was also going to propose, since you do have a vacancy on your board, reallocating what would have been the salary for that commissioner to the special election, and then doing some slight other adjustments to fund that special election. If the commission decides to eliminate the public works employee, we could use that funding as well.
And we have the opportunity to amend the budget at any particular month, even though we approve it for a deadline this evening. It's fluid.
And are you gonna do the JCC?
The what?
Is the city gonna take care of the JCC?
It could be amended to that effect as well. Your input is being heard tonight, and that's why a budget, when it's passed in its final state, has the opportunity for amendment. As we continue with the plan forward with the input from citizens and the discussion from this dais, every meeting that we have.
Mr. Mayor, you also do have a $42,000 quote-unquote surplus. It's currently allocated 50% to pay back your wild spaces funds and 50% to pay back your water fund. You could also reduce that amount to fund the contract mowing.
And let me just ask for clarification, if I may, regarding this budget. have we inputted under revenue the total of surplus and equipment and properties in this budget?
No, sir.
No.
Correct.
Which
We don't want to
encompass-
budget revenues that are guaranteed.
Which, in my last, again, I'm sorry, at 50,000-foot plan, I apologize, Mr. Lewandowski, that there's not a dashboard and all those things that are being requested over and over. That encompasses over $150,000. It's going to be an injection in revenue. And that's just from the properties and the equipment that I've listed. Am I asking for my Christmas present early? No, but it's not built in as a magic number in this budget. It would skew this budget if it's not real. It's not real until the revenue source comes in. But that is the opportunity before us in the plan.
So that, I have to speak on that, so
Yeah.
you sold the tractor or whatever it was.
In this budget year.
In this fiscal year, so you wouldn't budget that revenue again in another fiscal
No.
year? Yeah.
No.
I'm just making sure that citizens understand that, that's already done, that's. in
Yes, ma'am.
25.
I saw the revenue source come in, yes, ma'am. But I'm just saying that opportunity and identifying, and we have that same exercise again in January every year to look at additional surplus properties that may come forward, or at least the same ones that we're looking at to get clarification on releasing those with the survey document, i.e. an abutting church property, multiple owners across CSX, as opportunities that are going to be injections of revenue that then would afford us the opportunity to listen again to the plan and amend our budget to provide more services or actions that the citizens are talking about tonight. It's talk, but it's a plan. And my takeaway this evening is it is time for me to have a town hall meeting, and it's time for me to have a workshop with the citizens regarding creating a plan document. This is the message I've heard tonight. And create it as a workshop, and from a workshop then a town hall meeting. You've given me my marching orders. Not that you didn't have to. I was already planning a town hall meeting, but I think a workshop is due diligence in this exercise tonight so that we put that on paper. Okay, anyone else regarding that commitment from me and are ready to vote? All those in passing resolution number 2025-29 in our fiscal year 25-26 budget, say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Nays like sign. Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. New business. Resolution number 2025-30, authorizing additional accessors for banking services authorization.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City of Archer, Florida, approving and authorizing additional accessors for the banking services on behalf of the City of Archer, removing previously named signatories on behalf of the city, repealing all resolutions in conflict, and establishing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass resolution number 2025-30 upon its reading by title only.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A motion from Vice Mayor Bailey. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second from Commissioner Kathy Penny. Any discussion from the dais regarding the need for this resolution and this exercise?
None from me. None from
Nope.
me.
No? Any, understand?
You got to replace them.
Hearing none, constituents in the audience? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, Miss Fiore.
Karen Fiore, I just have a question. So I heard Dallas mention, I think it was our last meeting, that he hasn't even been charging the city for his time that he's been spending helping. So question is Dallas going to continue to work for us? And if not, then since Loretta has been hired, is she replacing Dallas? And do we need to remove Dallas from the authorized for our bank stuff? I mean, I'm just trying to get understanding of that.
Can you speak to that, Madam Altop, as far as just the plan and what Ms. Ott is doing for us right now? Ms. Loretta
I mean, I wasn't planning on not using Dallas, but as limited as I possibly could, of course.
And amend our budget accordingly to get him reconciled as a vendor needing his money, so.
Yes, yes. Was there more to the I'm sorry, I was listening.
Okay, so
So
Dallas
you're
needs
right.
to stay on, it
Well, I
sounds
mean,
like.
That's
my-
what I thought you wanted the answer to, is Dallas gonna stay on as one of the
Well, if he
banks?
wasn't staying on, then I was gonna say he needs
Take-
to be listed on this resolution, but it sounds like you're gonna keep him on, which I hope you're gonna pay him, but, okay.
Yes, ma'am. And until we get that profit and loss and that reconciliation exercise completed,
Well,
it should be timely.
I don't think that should be, and I'm not trying to just fight for Dallas, he's a big boy, he can do it himself, but that shouldn't be the reason why you're waiting to pay Dallas.
No,
I
no,
mean,
I said for keeping him as a continued bank author.
Okay.
As individual with that extra set of eyes that we spoke to early in the conversation. That was the purpose of my comment.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify, it was my decision not to get paid. I didn't
I
feel it was
appreciate
right for
that.
me to get paid while the city was
Yes.
considering furloughing. So I don't want you to think the city is stiffing me on their
Thank you very much.
side.
Thank you, Dallas, because that was my understanding. Thank you.
That we were stiffening?
No, that we were not. It was his decision.
I understand. Okay. Anyone else from the constituents in the audience regarding this resolution? To update our bank signatory authorization? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Nays, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, last time on the agenda is a resolution of the City of Archer, Florida, setting the special election date for the City of Archer for seat number 1, designating the election for the 18th day of November 2025, setting the qualifying period, providing for an effective date. The appropriate motion is passed resolution number 2025-31, as read by title only.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion from Vice Mayor.
So moved.
Bailey, do I have a second?
I second.
I have a second from Commissioner Kathy Penny. Any discussion regarding this timeline for the special election to fill the vacant seat?
Mr. Mayor, the qualifying period will be October 1st, 12 noon, through October 15th, also at 12 noon.
I have just a couple clarification questions to ensure we properly vet and do this as far as a calendar date. It has to be within the 45 to 60 day period to take action, which includes qualifying up to the election. That's the case if we pass this resolution tonight, 9/24 through 9/30 is 7 days. The month of October is 31 calendar days, which subtotals 38, and then there'll be 18 days additionally in November up to the election date. That's 56 days. That's less than the 60 and greater than the 45. So that's appropriate. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I know we've done this before, and we've been out of sync with the county. Looking to our deputy clerk, former deputy clerk that always does the qualifying and the notifications and the advertising. Is that appropriate? Yes, ma'am. If you just speak.
Yeah, if you don't mind. This is the part, Mr. Walker, where in 21, or it might have been actually 18, where, yeah, because the 45th to the 60th day overlaps, because we have to have election within 60 days of the resignation. So that's what I was asking Tom when he was looking over all my dates, is that there's no way we can go to the 60-day period. So that's when Mayor Hope called. I said, yeah, please clarify, because it's 4 days less than 60, but I can't go under that because we have to have, or over that because of the timing. Like, we always have to have our elections on Tuesday. That's what I mean. I'm like stuck,
And we
no
have
matter which
Veterans
way
Day-
we go.
have Veterans Day is
Is
a
the
federal
11th.
holiday and things like that, but it's still a calendar day. So we're at that 56-day
Yes.
point at Election Day. So as long as that is legal and appropriate, I'm comfortable if everyone else is. And Mr. Robinson is who you reached out to? His associate.
Him and Mr. Walker, but yeah, he's the one that Tom
Not
reviewed
trying
it
to
for me.
put you on the spot, but I just know we need this doubly reviewed,
Yes.
you know, contingent on this exercise. My next question is, will filling this seat 1 vacancy will it be a 4-year term, or will it be until this seat vacancy that's current now ends, which would be February of '28, or will it be a full 4-year term?
No, it is the
Filling the vacancy
filling
seat,
the vacancy seat.
which would
Correct.
come up for February 28th, along with seats 2 and 3. So the 1, 2, and 3 qualifying is in February of '28 with an election for April of '28. And so that's when this term would also come up again.
Correct.
Just filling the vacancy. I'm sorry, repeating myself, but
Yep, that's good.
Ms. Fiore, that kind of, yeah, that was something was asking me, and I said I would certainly bring it up tonight and clarify that. And it's a very short, if there is more than one candidate, it's a very short campaigning period, but it is what it is, so. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other comments from the dais or discussion? Hang on one second, Karen, just want to make sure the dais, no other questions, okay. Constituents, yes, ma'am.
Karen Fiore, so the third whereas on this resolution states that each commission shall be elected for a term of 4 years. Should that be reworded
Because it's filling a vacancy. for
that,
term.
yeah, vacancy will be filled through February 28th of 2028 at that time, whereas there will be another election normally scheduled type of thing?
And that's what bred my just discussion is,
We can amend that.
Yeah.
okay, so it could be amended to the, specific to the seat 1 vacancy.
Yeah. Section 1, so did our business hours change? Are we now working Monday through Friday? City of Archer during business hours from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. I think we only work Monday through Thursday. I think it needs to be stated there correctly. And I don't even know if those are the times that the city is even open, to be
It was
honest.
8 to 5,
8 to 5 or 6? It's
Monday through Friday.
Monday
They're
through Thursday.
Thursday. They're open to 6.
What's the hours?
What's the
8
hour?
to 6.
For the new
8
budget
to
year.
6. Where do you see that? What am I missing?
It's
Section 1.
section 2 on page 1.
Section 1.
Oh, no, I was wanting to see where you seen Monday through Friday, my bad. Oh, no, I just, from 8 to, I put those in there because we're here from 7 to 8, so that's when we're doing
Monday through
paperwork and
Friday?
stuff. No, Monday through Thursday. Where do you see Monday through Friday?
I don't, but that's my
Oh,
point.
okay,
It doesn't
gotcha.
tell me.
I just did,
Clarify it's
oh,
Monday
okay.
through Thursday.
Yeah, I just did through 5:30. That way we can, whoever comes in, we can get through the paperwork before we
If they're walking
close
at
at
5, it
6.
takes 30 minutes plus.
That's the only
to go
reason why I
through all.
put 5:30. I put those times in there. But if the commission wants different times.
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
You just need to make it clear, Monday through Thursday is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a paper out on the counter where you ask people to change the.
Ms. Lopez, you'll have your time to come forward if we can continue.
That's on your subject, and you're talking about these times that she's advertising.
Not from your seat in the audience, please, ma'am. If you'll come forward when your time is present, I would appreciate it.
When is my time present?
When we give Ms. Karen Fiore the courtesy to finish with any of her questions for clarification, that's when you
I
would
just
come.
have one more
Yes,
question,
ma'am.
and I'm just not used to the process. So, say there's only one person that goes out, or say there's 2, and so then the citizens get to go vote on that day, and then that comes back to the commission, and then does the commission have to vote on that? Or is it just gonna be what the citizens voted on?
It's what the voters.
Okay,
elect.
just wasn't sure. Thanks.
There'll be, what is it called, the validation canvassing board that will review that, Ms. Fiore, the vote, and any mail-in ballots.
Mayor Hope, real
Yes,
quick,
ma'am.
may I ask Mr. Walker a question? Do we need to be here on Friday to Ms. Fiore's,
I
Mrs.
thought it
Fiore's?
was-
Just your business hours.
Okay, I was just making sure.
But I do like the idea
Could
of putting an
we change
amendment
our
on
hours?
Monday through Thursday,
I thought we were
just so it's
voting
clear.
Monday through Friday.
Anyway, Mr. Mayor, I found this on the desk today. You were asking the people and the citizens for, it's a survey about the working hours.
Yes.
So are we supposed to go by this?
No, that was one of the meetings, I think it was one I wasn't at, I think you guys discussed or somebody talked about going back to 5 days a week. So we did the survey the last time last several times, we went back and forth. So Tangi had just made those so the citizens can put their input as to, that's all that's for.
So what I find here is Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6. Is that what you're working now?
Yes, well, 7 to 6 is what we work, yes, in our lunch.
Okay.
But we're not open
So
to
you still want us to fill this thing out?
whoever wants to, yes, ma'am.
Anyone else regarding the resolution? Motion on the floor? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of resolution number 2025-31, say aye.
Aye.
Aye as well,
With
Nay.
the corrections.
with the amended correction. Yes, ma'am.
Bless you.
And the third, whereas specific to seat 1 vacancy, term, and then the hours of operation. Clarification, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Aye as well. Any nays? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. And then last, it's more just a homework assignment for us. I asked Madam Altop if she would include it, and that's our city manager position that we've allotted it for a part-time administrator. We cannot advertise it with the current job description that is full-time. You have a copy of that. I think that was sent out. When did you send that out, Deanna? On Monday at 8 a.m. this week?
I'm sorry.
The job description for our
Yes.
review and
Yes, sir.
edit recommendations, that was
I
Monday at
believe
8
it was
a.m. this
Monday.
week.
Yes, sir.
If you all would, please finish that assignment specific to looking at a part-time administrator and any changes you'd want or add so that we can quickly get that posted and advertised and start that process. Specifically with the League of Cities, looking for the type of individual we're looking for. Not necessarily going to go for somebody with ICMA. That was a recommendation from the dais that it's not required. I did complete mine, and Madam Altop just said, can I attach yours just for feedback of, I pencil whipped it and this is what I added. Not that you have to agree with any of it, I'm just saying I did mine. So if you all would please complete your edits and send it in so that she can compile that. Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes,
As
sir.
a non-citizen, I don't know. I would encourage the commission, the job ad you have here is fairly generic, city manager job ad. I would encourage you to draft your job ad, at least the beginning part, to really be what you were looking for in a city manager. Without all the kind of generic human resources, we want a manager with 10 years of experience,
I.e.
I would,
oversight review specificity.
yeah, I would, any manager worth their weight is going to have done research on the city of Archer, so they're going to be aware of the situation you're in and the issues you're facing.
But if
So
you
I would
state it-
tackle that head on, like
State
the
it
city of
very
Archer is
clearly.
in
Yes,
having these issues,
I
we're
agree.
looking for a manager who can, so I would
I
encourage you to incorporate that into your ad. I would also encourage you to hire a manager who has some financial background.
Thank you. Okay, and no action needed, just it's an exercise, homework assignment that I asked to be put on the dais, so you guys could please complete that so we have that opportunity to start the advertising. Okay?
Did we vote on just doing the part-time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I thought we did.
From a budgetary standpoint, I mean, we wish we could go with the full-time, but one of our plan actions to have a viable recovering opportunity with our finances. Okay, last but not least, comment period number 2. Anyone coming forward? Welcome, Representative Johnson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I had not planned to speak, but being my name was brought up, and as a student of parliamentary procedure, it certainly wasn't germane for me to speak during the public hearing resolutions, nor the new business resolutions. So once you all, and I will address the commission, but at the same time, I hope everyone here in the room is listening from the standpoint that I want everyone to know that I came here because I absolutely believe that you must first seek to understand before you want to be understood. And so obviously I've met with different people. I've read, different news articles of what's going on with Archer. And so for me, celebrating 31 years of marriage today, I also understand that there is always,
Congratulations.
thank you very much, there is always his side, her side, and somewhere in the middle is where the truth is. And so I came here to sit in the back and observe. And so I do not want anyone to think that I'm here from a condemning or a judgment, because I absolutely am not. I've heard the discussion of taking the charter and the government exercising that. Ladies and gentlemen, I would tell you that for someone who loves history and loves communities, I am glad that our governor has not been in a race to remove a charter from a community that has been here since the 1850s. As an economics major, a student of numbers, I absolutely understand the challenges, and you didn't get here overnight. You're not going to resolve it overnight, but unfortunately you are going to have to make some very tough decisions on being fiscally conservative, or, as was mentioned, your constituents are going to be taxed to the point where they no longer want to be residents, and that's not good for any of us. So that being said, I don't come here with any solutions. Typical politician from the state level. I will tell you, you will never hear me tell you how to do your job. A former county commissioner, we had a lady named Renata Cannon who was much like Miss Karen, that she questioned everything. And early on, I almost resented her. But when I later learned that not only was she a child of communist Germany who escaped, and consequently I love the fact that anytime anyone leaves either a socialistic or communistic society, they never go to another communist or socialistic society. They come to a capitalistic society. But what my point is, Miss Cannon taught me that accountability from our constituents makes us all better. So hats off to your diligence and questioning. It is okay to be questioned, and it challenges us to know, to be better civil servants. And so with that, I thank you for your time, appreciate your service. I would tell you local politics is tougher than state politics on any day, and commend you all for being here. My office is always open. We may agree to disagree, but I promise you we will always have a conversation, and I'll at least have an open door. Thank you. Appreciate everyone.
Thank you for the spring session appropriations. We appreciate it. Anyone else? Yes, sir, Mr. Gene Arnold.
Gene Arnold again. I think I know the answer. Have we reconciled all the bank statements to date?
No, sir, we have not.
Where have you left off at this point?
We finished October of '24, so we're a whole fiscal year behind at this time.
Okay.
That's why the profit and loss can't be generated.
And previously, correct me if I'm wrong, who was signing the checks? Was it Joni White was in charge of signing checks?
It was her, Joni, and myself, and then of course Mayor Hope and Vice Mayor Bailey can sign as well.
Okay. And just I know that Chad may not know all of the backstory, but we previously had a city manager. We fired him last year, and then soon after, the accountant resigned that was here as well. Joni White stated some things that were shocking to me from the standpoint of doors and combinations and keys and the ability for anyone to, she basically just said anyone could take money. That was, didn't see that coming. I do think that it's interesting that she did not provide an explanation even tonight of why she resigned. I think we kind of have an idea, but I would have liked to have understood better, and maybe she was pressured to resign. I have no idea, but just thought it would have been interesting to know. Going back to fraud, where'd we leave off with, I know we've got a new attorney, with pursuing Tony Hammond and possibly Cindy and following the money. We've talked about this. I know at one point Dallas, when he first started, did a little bit of a deep dive and found out that somehow Tony had paid himself twice. Do you remember that, Dallas? And I don't know if we were able to ever recover any money. I think last I heard a couple months ago, he was still trying to sue Archer for termination. And I don't know if that's still ongoing, and maybe we can't discuss it. But that leads me into, what are we doing now with the recent theft? Are we going to sue him? Are we going to, how do we recover? Is he going to pay back? Is there a plan?
Mr. Walker, I don't know if we can discuss at this time.
I don't think there's a formal plan as of yet on that, but there's certainly.
We filed a claim with the insurance company.
A claim with that.
a liability claim.
And then also there is criminal restitution that, our desire would be not to spend resources to recover funds of that nature, particularly if we can recoup that through the insurance side or criminal restitution.
There's a $5,000 deductible on the $14,400.
Well, that's what we think that he stole. I don't know if we've ever taken a deep dive into knowing exactly what he took and how he did it.
Can you speak to that, Ms. Alta?
We have not done a deep dive. You are correct. I think well, maybe I didn't. We do have, the recommendation was made to go back from September or October of last year forward to match all of the revenue from the cash from Edmonds and reconcile it to what made it into the bank. So that's another task that does need to be done. So yes, it's possible there's more, but we don't know until you sit and go through every single one of those and match it up.
And I guess the bigger picture is, I don't want, if we don't go after Tony Hammond and we can't find, and maybe there's nothing on Cindy, that she didn't do anything wrong, and we don't go after Justin, it sets a precedent that you can come to Archer and work here and you can just steal money and nothing's going to happen to you. Now, that's extreme, but.
In respect, if I could just speak to that, in the August meeting, we had a discussion and we had said we'd like to agenda it with the attorney to do the homework for us. That was Danielle Adams' last meeting with us or whatever. Just provide us what the options are. Welcome aboard, but that's, I would hope to be an agenda item on the October 13th meeting, to where we get a legal report on what our options are and what kind of litigating expenses, or do we go through the FDLE just to give us guidance in that.
Yeah, I just hope on principle alone.
It's not been left alone. It's just the point. We just want to make sure we get it from legal and what our options are. I know what I'd like to do, but I'm also trying to go to church on Sunday when I can, so.
And lastly, I think we've spoken about thickets numerous times, and I think the city attorney's office was pursuing it gratis. But I don't know if that's something that, are we still on a trajectory? Are we still working toward it? Is there an end in sight to where maybe, is January we'll have it wrapped up? What's your gut tell you?
My gut tells me is that we've sent a proposal to the attorney that represents Mr. Thickets, and we should have a response back shortly, and we'll know if that's going to resolve or where we're headed with that.
And all that will become public and available at that time.
All right, thank you.
Shade process. Yes, ma'am.
Karen Fiore. Would like an update on my public records request. I was told to submit my request again. I didn't get a response.
Did you CC the commission or no? You just.
Yep.
This past 30 days, you sent it to us as well?
Yeah.
Did you receive that?
Are you talking about the Aflac to the paycheck? Yes, Loretta had to get into Aflac, and I know she was having issues, so I believe she got in, so she has to print the 6 months. And then I told her, you'll want to view the screen, or you can use my computer to show the pay, look at each payroll and match them. So I'm just trying to get the Aflac.
Okay, because I thought last meeting you said you had all that already at your fingertips. So, okay.
Well, I probably did, but then with another person coming in, she, organized a little bit different, so.
You'll be
So do I have like a timeline?
It should be no later than the end of next week. Whenever I say that, it's after the election stuff done now. I mean, I've only had 2 days to work on it.
But Ms. Ott is taking on that to complete it, the information,
Yes.
so she can let you review it and send it out to Karen by the end of next week?
Well, I don't
know
know.
Karen wants to come in.
I will come into the office. We don't need to
Oh,
print
okay.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll take time off from my job to come in to view it
Appreciate
during
that.
your business hours. That'd be great. So Joni White came up here, started the meeting, telling us some things that she discovered, and then crickets from everyone. Still no word on that. I mean, not even like, no, that's not true. Joni thought something was not accurate. I mean, nothing, just crickets. We're pretend it never happened. You know, I know the code. Does everyone know the code?
I don't know the code. Well, you know more than I do.
Hello, she know more than me.
I don't
too,
know.
'cause I don't know it.
I'll text it on my way out to everyone. You can go try it. So, and I know where the money bags are kept and the key and
Well,
all
you
that
know
stuff,
more than I
so-
do, because I do not.
But there's no
And neither do
fire
I.
about
Do
it.
you?
No,
Oh,
No.
Of
okay,
course
well,
I
y'all-
don't know the code. The point is, there's no fire.
can we have
need
one
some
person
fire.
talk at a time,
Well,
please, in a
That's
civil
major.
condition?
You had disgruntled employees that
Okay, the
were.
Cricket will speak to give you your provided answer. If you could provide that information and update on standard operating procedure changes and
Yes, so
what
the-
was disclosed. Just a minute,
so-
Mr. Lewandowski.
yeah,
One
so-
cricket at a time, please, sir.
So the locksmith came out, I think, the next day, so the code has been removed, a whole new code. Only employees have the code. Loretta doesn't even have the code. She comes and knocks on the front door, texts me she's here. The safe room where the money is kept, the people staff doesn't even know where the key is. I mean, the people in the office, Public Works does not have to help us, so staff has to know where that key is to get into that vault. Or I can put another keypad, but it's still another code, so you can't not give staff codes, keys to do their job. I
Okay,
mean,
could you in a standard operating procedure just list those employees so that any time we have a breach of that, we can make that change in that standard operating procedure? If you had put it in that format. The greatest concern I have spoken to you about, Cricket is sharing follow-up information, is that standard operating procedure on depositing
Oh, sure.
with things like we spoke about. Do not use the night drop box and rely on the bank to tell you how much cash was there. Have staff stand or drive through sit until it's completed. I know that's labor component, but it's important. These are just recommendations I was saying. The greatest thing is your turnaround between the counter clerk, their bag, the deposit slip, the record of the deposit slip back to the person that created the bag to ensure that cash and check balance is the same to Edmunds. And then that person, as a credentialing courtesy, get a copy of that receipt to validate to their Edmunds report. It, to me, will assist you. It doesn't take you out of it. You can put yourself as the administrator anywhere in that process of standard operating procedure, but it closes the circle because the whistleblower will then be the person who created the bag, if they have any credentialing ability. And then, as was spoken earlier with Ms. Fiore, I think it was her saying initials on each process.
Yes, yes, we
And
did
do
not-
that as a standard operating procedure. I mean, another thing to sit there and type out, but then have each person that has that duty sign off acknowledging that's the standard operating procedure. And it be as timely as it can be. It should not, I mean, I know you said that there's federal holidays and things, I understand all that. But it should not be for a lengthy period of time.
No, it's not. I went last Thursday. I'll go every Thursday, and yes, I sat there and waited, which is no problem.
No, and you don't have to share all that, but I'm just,
I'm just
if it
saying,
could be
I
in
did-
writing, it's the plan, it's what the Cricket and Silence didn't speak about. I didn't want to belabor our constituency, but I understand there's no trust. But if you could provide that for us with the October 13th, just with the sign off that the staff knows that, so that reduces that opportunity, because it just really willy-squilly, anybody can come in and do anything they want.
And
It
I don't
starts that
agree with
process.
that statement at all, but,
Okay, thank you.
and as far as Tangie's drawer got installed, and it's a locking drawer, so we did that. It's been here for a while. That was a Dallas recommendation.
Okay.
We just didn't have anyone to install it. But for someone to know the code to our door, know where that key is, open the safe, grab the bag, and go out. If they do that, they can do it by breaking the glass, whatever. So
I
I don't
understand.
agree with that
But
statement.
to me, the most important part is that the training and development and accountability to all those specific staff that deal with that in the standard operating procedure. This is it, and there'll be circumstances if it's not followed. Because as I've always said to you, power in the pen as part of the training process and development of your staff. So, yes, sir, Mr. Lewandowski.
Good evening.
One cricket to another, yes,
There
sir.
you go. So before the issues really all came to light with Mr. Hammond, I brought up to the commission's attention, I asked, where's the oversight? After it happened, I asked, where's the oversight? After we had the long report from the auditing, which I listened to again last night, by the way, I asked again, where's the oversight? So again, we have more things coming up. Bills are not getting paid, threats of power being cut off. Obviously, there are issues with cash flow. Perhaps there's some issues with the personnel policies for how personnel is being run. I've quoted to the commission in our charter your responsibilities for oversight. Okay? Some of the commissioners here were saying that they have no idea how some of these things are running within the city. You have this responsibility. So when you hear this frustration from us, this is not like it just happened last week. This is well over a year. There's an old joke in the Army, which I'm going to clean up for you. Okay, then I have to clean it up. You're right, Ms. Bailey, I have to clean it up. The 3 greatest lies ever told. I love you, the check's in the mail, and my favorite is, which I'm going to clean up for you, I have a plan. Okay? Keep on hearing there's a plan. You've said it multiple times tonight, you said it multiple times before. I keep on hearing about these plans. I never see them. Never. So that's why I don't have a lot of trust right now. I don't see the plan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
May I say something real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
I just didn't reply to Joni White, but I have an awful lot to say, so I'm just letting you know, like Senator Johnson said, there's this side, that side, and what's the truth. So just
Yes, ma'am.
don't, whoever's listening here, that might not be the truth. I have my whole side of what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Green. Welcome.
I'm changing the subject. This is Ann Green. But the city was going to divide the property over here, the CSX property, and the only documentation we have received is the drawing with the Hope property on it. And I have done some correspondence, and I've with your office too, Mr. Walker, but we, as president of the Historical Society, we need something in writing, and we have been writing back and forth to your office with emails, starting with Danielle, and then she was forwarding it to you and Mr. Robinson. And so we need some documentation. We're ready to move forward, but we've not seen anything, and I have talked to the surveyor of record that she suggested, and which we're in agreement with. We're in agreement with it. We just needed some talk about it. So where do we go from here?
This is on the sale of the CSX property?
Yes, between the Hope, Mary Hope, and the railroad
Okay,
depot.
okay.
So we'll be contacting your office then and
That's
hope we can move forward on that. The other thing I want to say, Mr. Mayor, is it just came to me, if we ever had a report of what the community center has taken in and the expenses that have gone out for the community center, I think we would see where a lot of money has gone. I think we could see the big picture of where we are. It's a great, big, beautiful building, and it has not been taken care of. It has, in many ways. And it's sad to me because it has a lot of sentimental value to me, in addition to the fact that it's fixed for beautiful use, but the people that use it for nothing have no skin in the game, and it's just that story. But that's a big part of where we are, is the expenses of the community center.
Yes,
when we are so generous. Y'all are so generous. You just give it to whoever wants to use it, and they ought to have some skin in the game.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Robertson. Welcome.
Thanks. Rhonda Robertson, resident. Did you guys set a date for the special election? There were so many people talking, I did not hear the actual.
November 18th.
November 18th.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Qualifying as the 1st through the 15th.
November 18th. Thank you very much for that. I have a comment on the cemetery. It does need to be kept up, but I don't think you should keep West Farms, as far as I'm concerned. They are exorbitant. They charged my next door neighbor just to mow her yard, just to mow and weed eat, $500.
A month.
One time.
One time. One time.
No, one-time cut. So get some estimates.
Yes, ma'am.
Get some estimates. I'll be happy to weed eat my own family plot.
Yes, ma'am.
I do it anyway. I'll be happy to do that. Thirdly, I hear a lot about what Newberry has. I don't live in Newberry, and that's one of the biggest reasons I don't. There are 3 batch plants and a 4th coming. I don't live in Gainesville. I did not buy my property and build a house in Newberry nor Gainesville. I built it in Archer, and not to live across the street from a concrete batch plant.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at 8:15. Thank you for your
Oh, I
attendance.
thought we were going.
Ma'am?
I thought we were going to talk about what happened. I thought we were going to talk about what happened. Yeah, because that's why I was quiet at the beginning.